Today, I will in charge of our Q&A panel for the new admitted students for winter session. First of all, welcome all of you to attend today's meeting. If you have some questions, this meeting is focused on to answer the questions for all international students. So if you have some questions, you can just post your question and we will answer you. And let's start it. So for today, we have 4 parts. The first part will introduction to our panelists. The second part will be the IRCC update. The third one is next step, what you need to do when you start up about your study journey in Ottawa. Next one is our main part, is a question period. So there are 4 persons from our university attend this meeting. First of all is me. I'm the international student advisor and I will take care of the immigration questions. So if you have some question regarding your study permit, regarding your visa, something like that, you could ask me. And the second one is Susan. She is a student mentors and she also the student, international students from our university. So if you have some question regarding about life, about some study pressure, something like that, you could pose questions to her. Next one is Ank. She is a specialist in the UHIP. So it's for the, if you have some question regarding about insurance, something like that, I think majority students will pay more attention on that. In case you have some emergency situation, you will use your UHIP or OHIP insurance. She will answer the questions in that areas. Adina, she is our office coordinator, so she will familiar with all the other rest of questions. So let's start to the next session is for the IRCC update. IRCC update this part because we have some new regulation or policy from IRCC from this December and January. So I think our students need to have an idea about that. The first update is for the financial requirement. So for students for all students who attend this meeting, I think you already submit your study permit applications. Just in case if some students don't file study permit applications, you need to provide more financial supporting documents for your study permit application because the cost of the living requirements for study permit increased at January 1st from 10,000 Canadian dollars to 20,000 Canadian dollars for a single applicant. So right now, if you need to prepare your tuition, 1 year tuition fee, 1 year living, cost of living expense, and the next one is travel expense for your study permit applications. So if you didn't apply the study permit, this part you need to pay attention, prepare more money for your study permit. The second thing is the application form. IRCC released a new study permit application form on December 1st, 2023. So if you use about IRCC GC portal to submit your applications, make sure you use the most up-to-date application forms. Otherwise, you can't file application online. That is the two great biggest update from the IRCC. So if you have some questions, you could pose questions in the Q&A part. The next part is the get started to your left to University of Ottawa. So we have some recording sessions you could watch on YouTube channels. So majority, if you have some for the summer orientation is focused on the fall for the fall semesters, and the student they have a lot of that presentation include a lot of useful information you may use. Majority about know more about immigration areas, and the second thing maybe about UHIP and other aspects for when you get ready to your study in University of Ottawa. And next one is the recording information session recorded in December. It's also shared in the YouTube channel. Majority is about our useful information you could use for the Lisbon's focus for the winter sessions. Next one, they have the you could find out about the previous orientation sessions sent by emails. All the links is in the emails. The next step is they have some campus activities during the wellness week. This one is they have a wellness center organize a lot of activities from January 22nd to January 26th. From these activities, you will know maybe pick up one or two you are interested topics, and you could just get to know about campus, get to know more about the person on campus. And we have the international hangout on January 23rd. It's like a big party. You can meet new friends and know more about our clubs or some groups in campus. Maybe you can find something you can make new friends through this way. So the next part is like our main part is like the question period. So for all students, if you have some questions, you could pose your question right now. You could type your questions in the meeting chart and we will answer your questions. Hello, students. If you have some questions, you could type your questions in the chart and we will answer your questions one by one. Do we have health insurance? Yes, our international students will have the insurance. I think Ank will answer these questions to explain more about insurance areas.
Yes, hi. Yeah, my name is Anke and I can help you with all your insurance questions. So the international office handles the UHIP insurance. The UHIP insurance is for international students because most don't have access to the provincial plans. But keep in mind that in Canada, everybody has two insurances. One that will cover medical visits. In your case, is the UHIP insurance. And in your statement of account, you're going to see fees for health insurance and dental insurance as well. So that's the additional complementary health insurance and dental, because the UHIP insurance covers your visits at a hospital or doctors, but it does not cover medication, vision, or dental. So for that is what the additional health and dental insurance are for. And they also cover visits to specialists, for example, physiotherapy, chiropractor, or like a psychologist. So when international students enroll for courses, the UHIP insurance is added automatically to their accounts. And you should receive information by email sent directly from the insurer called Cowen. And they will send you the UHIP card about 10 days after you make the payment. So you are covered, but you will only receive the card by email to your U Ottawa email account once you have paid the fees. I think that's the general idea about the UHIP and the insurances. So if you have any other questions, put them in the chat, please.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So our next students is like with regards to the IRCC updates, financial requirement, does it include permit being extended? That one question I will answer. So for the financial requirement, it's not only for the new study permit application overseas. For the students who are already inside of Canada, if they need to extend their study permit applications, this financial requirement is also will affect those extensions made inside of Canada, which means for all study permit application after January 1st, 2024, you need to have more financial supporting documents. So this is my answer. Next one is, I am in the visa process. What is the last date that I can come by late arrival? So for the late arrival, for students who still waiting their study permit applications, first of all, you could communicate with your faculty to make sure if your faculty can provide some online courses. So in this case, if your study permit can't ready on time, you can also take some online course from your home country. This is the first option. And if the course you had to come in person, I think the last day is January 29 or January 19. Let me to share something. Let me find something from my side. Oh, sorry. We have some important academic date from University of Ottawa. I think it's January 19. Let me check. For winter session, it's like the last day to enroll or change your course is in the January 19. So I think the last day you can come on campus will be in the January 19, but you need to communicate with your faculty. And our last day to change student status is also in the January 19. However, the last day to withdraw a course or activity and receive a financial credit, that will be the February 2nd. So if you make sure you take some, reject some course before January 19, and if you can't come in person, and you could drop the last day to drop the course with some financial credit is the February 2nd. So this is two important date for you. And the next question. Next question is, let me to check just one moment. You have, Victor, you said you have a couple of questions. Is there any extra fee for adding dependents to UHIP? Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, I put information in the chat with a link to the dependents page. So yes, there is an additional fee for adding dependents. So the way it works is the student will pay their fees, like the member fees. Then if it's just the member and a spouse, or the member of one child, that will count as a couple insurance. So it will pay for two. But then when it comes to a family, a student will pay for three. But then it's gonna be, it doesn't matter how many are in the family. So to make it simple, while you're starting now in the winter. So in the winter, you will see a fee of $504 for yourself, just as a member, just as a student. So to add one dependent, you would just double that amount. It would be 504. And then if you have two or more dependents, it's 504 times 3, which comes to $1,512. Okay, and then it's mandatory to add the students, the dependents to the student's UHIP account. And please note, usually it is like within the first 30 days of arrival in Canada. But so for new students, when they're starting, if your dependents are already here with you, you have like the month of January to add them without having an additional late enrollment fee of like $500.
So next question is, my program with U Ottawa is online. I'm living in Quebec at the moment and I have Quebec insurance. Do I need the U Ottawa insurance still? Thank you.
Okay, so for students who have access to the provincial plan, so students in Ontario, if they're international students with the OHIP coverage, they can be exempted from UHIP. The UHIP can be canceled. And for Quebec, the same. If you have the RAMQ for Quebec, then you can send us a copy of the card to let me just confirm what the email address is. It is UHIP. I will put it in the chat. I'm going to double check because it changed. And so you just send us a copy of the card to the email address, and then we can adjust the UHIP account according to the provincial coverage.
Okay,
Okay.
no problems. So the next one is how do we access the campus benefits since we are yet to receive our student ID card or UPass? Student benefits, I mean, including the advanced free shop pop-up on Monday, also the bus and other benefits secondly. Susan, can you answer these questions?
Okay, so I'm not entirely sure about what happens if you don't have your student ID card yet. I think I'll get back to you on that question. But you should be able to access the free shop pop-up on Monday, for example. I don't know about the UPass, but I will get back to you on that.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. So next question is, how often are international students required to pay for the health insurance for a PhD programs?
The fee for the UHIP, it's independent of if your student is the first an undergraduate student, graduate student, or a PhD student. So when students start in the fall, the UHIP is added for the entire year, and that's $756. If students who start in January, so for a single coverage is $504. And if students would start the program in the spring, summer, the fee would be $252. And then in the fall, everybody who started already, when the fall 2024 comes, UHIP will be added for the entire year. So, and fees for the next year have not been made public yet, so we don't know.
Okay, thank you. So
And
Victor,
also I'm putting here in the chat that to send a copy of the provincial card, like OHIP or RAMQ, to UHIP ramu@uottawa.ca. But I'm putting it in the chat.
okay, thank you. Victor has some question regarding the meal plan work. How does the meal plan work? Also,
Yeah.
is smart cards required to access the lecture building?
Okay, so I can answer that question. As for how the meal plan works, well, there's 3 different plans that you can choose from. All the information is on this website, which I will drop in the chat. I'll drop the link in the chat in a second. So there's the 7-day meal plan, and then there's the 5-day meal plan, and then there's a pay-as-you-go meal plan. And so all of them have different costs, and I will share the link with you there. And as for having a smart card to access the lecture buildings, well, no, you wouldn't need a smart card unless you're like a TA or something. If you would like to access different rooms, you might be given a card so you can have special access to things like maybe like the microphone or maybe the different tools that you would need. But no, you could just enter the building. They're always open. Well, not always open like that. They're opening in closed times, but like in general, when you have a class, the building will be open. I hope that answers your question. And as for the previous question about the UPass and the student card, I'll share with you the links that give you more information on the student card and the UPass. You should get your student number soon, so I think it should all work out. You just have to get in contact with UPass, and then also for your student card, you can just apply online for that. But even if you don't have your card right now, like even if you don't have your number right now, you'll get it pretty soon because you are a student here, so you'll get it pretty soon, and you just have to apply online for the student card, and then the UPass, you can go pick it up. I think in UCU, but I'll put all the information there for you in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So next question is, I haven't received my student card yet, despite applying a month ago. Can I attend the class without it?
Okay, so the answer to that is yes. You don't need a student card to attend class. To attend class, you just show up in the lecture hall, and your prof is there. The prof gives a lecture, and you just attend the lecture, and then you leave. There's no like they don't check your student number or anything. If you have exams, sometimes they'll ask to see your student number, but exams aren't here yet. they'll ask to see your student card, but it's not exam time yet, and I'm sure you'll have it by then. And if not, you can provide some other piece of ID. So you don't need your student card at an exam all the time. Like you could also use a driver's license or maybe like a health card or something like that, just so they can verify your identity.
Okay, thank you. So next question is how course-based students can work on campus? How should they apply?
Okay, so for that question, there are a couple of options. I think the first one, maybe like the best one or most accessible one would be like the work study program. So if you'd like to work as a student on UOttawa, as a student at UOttawa, you can apply through the work study program. So you go to UOzone and you go to the applications tab, and then you scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you'll find something that says Work Study Navigator. And so you click on that. There's a form you have to fill out because maybe you're not eligible to work as a part of the work study program. It just depends on your financial situation. So there's a form that you have to fill out. And after that, they get back to you saying whether you're eligible or not after you submit the form. It takes a few days for them to get back to you. And then after that, you can just access all the job openings and all the positions that are available at UOttawa for students. And a lot of these, well, all of them are like on-campus jobs. So that's one way. Another way is, oh, actually, well, that's just, you're asking about on-campus. Well, those are the on-campus jobs. That's how you'd access them. Another option is to go through, like, there's an online there's something called Workday, and there's like open positions there. Like if you would like to TA, for example, just search up like Workday UOttawa, and then there are open positions listed, and you just apply through that. Yeah, so then this will just, in summary, there's the work study program, and then there's just, you can apply through Workday for positions like TA-ships and research assistantships. Oh, and then that answers the next question. I got another question saying, how does a PhD student apply for the teaching assistantship/research assistantship jobs? Again, yeah, you just search up like Workday UOttawa, and then there's just a list of all of the positions, and then you just apply through there. And yes, I will, as soon as I finish talking, I will drop all the links. All the links I said I would put in the chat, I will put them into the chat.
Oh, there is a part I want to add about the jobs on campus. Because the international students check about your study permit, you will have some on-campus and off-campus job authorization written on your study permit. If you have that remark on your work permit, you could work during your studies. And in order to work, no matter on campus or off campus, you need to register as a full-time student. This is a very important part. If you are a part-time student, you are not eligible to take some jobs during your studies. So, and the jobs they can consider about on-campus and off-campus. On-campus, which means the job is from universities, is, for example, the job you found from the work-study programs that will consider about the on-campus job. The off-campus job is you found by yourself at something outside of campus. For example, as a cashier in the supermarket, as a sales in the magazine, that thing we'll consider as the off-campus. For the on-campus job, will be considered about RA, research assistants, teaching assistants, or something like a cashier in the cafeteria on campus. These things is all considered as on-campus. For the on-campus job, there is no working hour limited per week. But for the off-campus work, there have some working limitation. Based on the temporary policy right now, you could work as 20 hours per week maximum for off-campus job. So there's 2 points. First thing, you need to make sure you have work authorization written on a study permit. If you don't have it, you can't work. The second thing, in order to activate the working authorization on your study permit, you need to register as a full-time student. So that is the second thing, the next thing you can work. So that is everything you need to pay attention with the study permit, you won't work. So if you are not sure about this, the work authorization for your case scenario, you could send us emails about your case scenario. And we have our international student advisor will answer your emails regarding about your work authorizations. So students, if you have work, make sure this is legal and you follow the LRCC policy. That is very important. So for students who have some questions, you could continue to post your questions in the chart. And I will just give you some ideas about how to reach our office. The first thing where our office is open from 9 o'clock to 4:30 from Monday to Friday. And our office is in the Taipei High Hall in the 3rd floor. And there is a very big logo on our port is Red U International. So that you can just visit us during the business hours. And another way is you could send us emails. Our office emails is uointernational@uottawa. And the next one is for the mentors. You can just send emails to our mentors about your question regarding your life, your study journeys. If you have some questions, you could send emails to here. And the next one is we have some our website. You could use this link to find which kind of service our office will provide. And we also have some social media account. You could follow us on the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagrams, and LinkedIn. So that is our office. And the next one is we have 5 immigration advisors, like well of listening. We are the Canadian regulated immigration consultant. So we are the certified person who can provide legal advice in immigration areas. So if you have some question regarding your study permit, visa, work authorization, co-op work permit, postgraduate work permit, some questions like that, you could send us emails, you could contact us. We also have a website. They have some useful informations you may want to find. We also have some frequently asked questions. You can find some answers based on the most common questions for international students. We also have a YouTube channel. We have some recordings and to teach you more about our students, most about how to fill applications and some temporary policies, something like that. You could follow about that, our YouTube account. And for each week, we have some SOS immigration drop-in sessions. It's online meetings. You could ask us about your question regarding about immigration areas. We will answer your questions in the SOS immigration sessions. And the next one, or you could send us emails to the emi.intel@uottawa.ca. This email address, you could send us emails. And if your case is very special, you want some personal appointment, you could use this link to request a book appointment with us, and we will answer your questions by the appointment. So that is everything for our university office, international office. So if you have some questions, you could post your questions in the chat and we will answer you. And seems like we don't have a lot of questions today. So if you have some questions, you could post some questions. That is everything I want to talk for today. So we will just wait online in case you have some questions. So that is end from my side. So students, if you have some questions, you could. Oh yes, I live in residence. Can I ask for matches change?
Okay, I can try and answer that question. I'm not entirely sure, but I can give you the contact information for the people who you could ask, like the people who could answer that question for you. So I'll put that in the chat. You would have to talk to the people responsible. So I'll let you know who those are. Okay, so that would be residents@uottawa.ca, and I will put their email over here in the chat. You could just email them about your question.
Is there any child daycare at university campus? Wow, this question.
Okay, so I don't think there is. I will double check, but I don't think there is right now. I think there used to be at one point, but now you would have to see maybe like some other daycares that are like near the university, but I'll double check for you. As of now, I think no.
Students, if you have some questions, please type your question in the chart. We will answer your questions one by one. What is the most commonly used rental platform off campus?
Okay, so I checked about the daycare. There is no on-campus child daycare. And then as for the next question, what is the most commonly used rental platform off campus? I can't say what's the most commonly used. I'm just not aware of like which ones students use the most, but I can recommend some off-campus rental platforms. So for that, I'll give you the contact information for off-campus services, and they can give you advice on that. So I'll put the information in the chat for that.
Yes, I see them post some links in the chart for the rental. Hello, students. If you don't have more questions, we will just wait online for around 5 minutes and then we will end about our session today. So if you have some questions, please post your questions in the chat. Thank you.
If you'd like, you can also feel free to raise your hand up and unmute to ask any other questions you might have.
Yes. How can I be sure whether my program will be eligible to a post-work permit since part of the program is online? Yes. So for the PGWP applications, you need to make sure that your study program is longer than 8 months. If your study program is shorter than that, you are not eligible for PGWP. And second thing is like some program include some online courses. So you need to make sure that your online courses, how many percentage of the online is included. This program is totally online, and that is really, how to say that, case by case. And for your study programs, you could send your emails to send emails to our office, and we can just give me more information about your study programs and how many percentage is included online. As far as I know, I think majority of our study programs from University of Ottawa will be eligible for the postgraduate work permit. But we have some program is not suitable for that. So for this case scenario, you could send us emails about more information, and we will answer your questions one by one. Because generally, if the program is longer than 8 months and you take all the courses inside Canada, and the online course is already post the pandemic period, I think online course is not able to be eligible if you take from outside of Canada. This period will be deducted from your loans of the PGWP. So yeah, it's very hard to answer your questions. So please send us emails and I will answer that based on your case scenario. The students do anyone have some questions? If anyone have some questions, please post their questions in the chat. Otherwise, our meeting will end in around 10:15. Okay, I will just wait online in case some person have some questions. Yes, we have a question is when should the PGWP application be made and where? So PGWP is for the postgraduate work permit. It's like the Canadian government, they give some open work permit for the students who finish their programs inside Canada. And you could make this application when you finish your programs. You should fill the application online. But however, in order to be eligible for the PGWP, they have some selection criteria. The first thing is your study program should be from some designated DLI institution. So which means U Ottawa is one of the DLI, so your program should be able to eligible for the programs. And second thing, your study program should longer than 8 months. If you take around, for example, 2-year master programs, there's no problems. And you had to take the course in person inside Canada. That is one thing. And the next thing is you need to be registered as a full-time student for each academic session of your study programs. So as I mentioned in the earlier, if you want to work, you also need to register as a full-time student. So register as a full-time student is a very good point. You need to pay attention because some students, especially for some undergraduate students, they need to register at least 12 credits to be eligible as a full-time student. Some students don't meet this requirement, and when they graduate, they are not eligible for the PGWP applications. PGWP applications will lead you an open work permit. Open work permit, which means you could work for any employers, and which will make you have some opportunities in the future. After gaining some work experience, you can achieve some permanent residence, is like PR. So that is a good pathway to be settled down in Canada. So in my opinion, PGWP is a gift for all international students, and you just pay attention about your study program, make sure you meet all the criteria. Then in the future, maybe you can go PR, I think that is the easiest way to get the PR for all international students. Next one, if I transfer from a previous program to my new one in U Ottawa, does the previous program attendance count towards the total final PGWP? For the PGWP, for example, if you have 2 programs, the first one is a 1-year program, you got some certificate or degree. The second one is around 1-year programs. In total, you take 2 years study program inside of Canada. The length of the PGWP, that one will, if your study program is longer than 2 years, you will get a 3-year PGWP. So in this case scenario, you will get a 3-year PGWP. If you finish 2 programs, you combine together, that is longer than 2 years. So however, for some students, their study program is like I study in another university, I didn't finish the programs, and then lately I transferred to U Ottawa to complete my bachelor or some programs. In this case scenario, RCC officer will check about your whole study programs. So we can't guarantee you will how long the PGWP will issued from the RCC officer, because the officer will check about all the materials about the application. But generally, if your study program is longer than 2 years, then you will get a 3-year PGWP. And if your study program is shorter than 2 years, you will get if you finish a program in 1 year, you will get a 1-year PGWP. That is really case by case. And for some students, especially for some master programs, for example, it's a 2-year program, that students study very hard. They finish their programs in, for example, 4 semester in totally is like 16 months. The RCC officer will check about the regular program length and use that one to give you the PGWP. If it's 2-year programs, you will get a 3-year PGWP. and even though you complete your program in 16 months. I'm still waiting for my study permit extension. Can I continue to my study in the meantime? They have something I need to ask you some questions, Melissa. Let me to unmute you. Just one moment. Melissa. Melissa, you are on mute right now. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. Hello.
Yes, I have some questions. So for you, you mentioned that you filed study permit extension. So you finish your high school or bachelor in state of Canada?
No. I was a visiting research student.
Uh-huh. You
And
are the
then-
visitor research. So right now you have the visitor visa, right?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, so for this case scenario, you are not eligible to continue study for the waiting period because your status will change from student to visitor to students. That is different from student extension to student. For the students who holding the study permit and file the study permit extension before the expiry date, this one for the waiting period, they will be the maintained status. And for the maintained status, they are eligible to study. For your case scenario, you change the status from a visitor to students. So which means your study permit application, your student status is not approved yet. So you are not continue to study for the waiting period.
Okay. I actually had a study permit to become a visiting research student.
Oh,
I have right now a study permit and it will be expired in the 14th of January, but I applied
Yeah.
before that date and I'm still waiting for a response.
yeah, in this case scenario, there's no problems. If you
Oh,
have a
okay.
study permit and you file study permit extension,
Yeah.
for the waiting period, you could continue study. There is no difference as
Okay.
you have a study permit. But make sure for the waiting period, maintain status period, don't go outside of Canada and re-enter because your maintain status will break if you exit Canada.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. So Ben, you have some question? Let me to unmute you.
Yes. Hello. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I'm coming back to my question about transferring from a previous program to my new one in Ottawa. So, so what's happening? I'm actually a French national, and I did do a course in Montreal, Quebec, for a year, but there's still a credit that I need to acquire. But in the meantime, I found a course that was very interesting in Ottawa, which I was admitted recently, which starts on the 8th of January. So what I did was actually to transfer on the IRCC platform to transfer.
I transfer. You'll do that.
Yeah. So do I still have to finish off the one credit that I have with my previous program before doing the one I'm about to do with Ottawa, or what should I do?
Okay. So I have some questions. The first thing, when you study in Montreal, is which program you study? Is a bachelor program or some course language?
No, it's called a DSS. It's not a grade like a master, or it's just below the master program.
It's a master program.
No. It's they call it second cycle. Is a certificate after the bachelor degree, basically.
Okay, it's a certificate programs.
Yeah.
And for this program, did you get a certificate?
No, it's not. I mean, there's still some credit to be done. I mean, during this term, winter term.
Okay, so which means for the certificate period, you finish half, for example, half in the Montreal and the rest will be in the Ottawa, is it?
Yeah, it's let's say I did 80% in HEC Montréal. Yeah, 80%.
Totally for the certificate, how long is the program? Is it a 2-year program or 1 year?
No, it's sorry, it's a 15-month something like that. Yeah. 15-month program. Yeah.
And this one is a master certificate, something like that?
No, it's not the master. It's called in Quebec they call it DESS.
USS,
The
okay.
USS.
Technically, for example, if you finish one program partially in one university, another one in second university, this one counted as the same programs. And the PGWP will issue based on the length of these programs. If your total program will be in the 50 months, you will get a 50 months PGWP.
Okay, all right. So let's say, for instance, the course that I'm doing in U Ottawa, it's a Bachelor in Education, which is a condensed 2-year program. Would that be taken into account, or is it going to be the program that I was doing
For
initially?
example, if you program in the U Ottawa, it's a 2-year programs, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you will get a 3-year PGWP.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you very much.
Now make sure that you take all the courses inside Canada, okay? Don't take some course outside Canada.
Okay, noted.
Okay,
Thanks. Yeah.
so the next one. Due to the new policy for work permits for Iranian, some universities are demonstrating the tuition. Are you included? I mean, for the second semester and beyond. Oh, for that things, you need to send emails to info service
I can
because yeah.
give just a quick question because I did talk to InfoService this week about it because we had students coming here. So as of now, no, U Ottawa is not granting those students domestic fees. They're still paying international student fees. But I was informed that InfoService, they're still communicating with the ministry to see. As of now, we know that many universities in Ontario are not providing that for students. I know that York University, to my knowledge, is the only one. But yes, InfoService would be the place to ask for that. But that's the latest. So if anything is going to change in the near future, we don't know. But that's what it is.
Yes, York University acceptance. Okay, so students, if you have some questions, please post your question in the chat. And if nobody have some questions, our meeting will end at 10:30. Okay? Hello, students. If there's no question, that is end of our session today. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance. And if you have some questions in the future, you could send emails to us, and we have our specialist will help you. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.